Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by. It's Infinite Enzo, and today we're going to be taking down the Kizer Mini Critical in 3V, and we're going to be doing some mod work to the blade. I'm pretty excited about it, guys, because this was my knife of the year for 2021, so let's jump right into it. And the reason I'm doing this tonight is because Metal Complex had put a video up recently where he was inviting his audience to submit photos of their modded knives for a contest, and the winner gets a knife, which is really cool. But aside from that, I just thought it was a really cool idea and something I wanted to contribute to. Now, I don't know if my photo will get selected at all, but regardless, I thought it'd be cool to make a video about it and just do a new mod on a knife that I'm really passionate about as well. So as I mentioned earlier in the intro, this was my knife of the year for 2021, and it's really held up that title. I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, enough of me rambling. Let's just dive right in. This knife is T8 throughout, which is fantastic. I'm actually using a new driver. This is the Klein Tools, I can't remember the name, but I think it was just Precision Driver, but it's really great, really well made, nice and chunky, a lot of grip. Comes with a few bits. The T8 bit on this one is excellent. That's really the only one I've used so far, but it's really well done. I've been really impressed with it so far. So, as I said, T8 on the pivot here. Let's go ahead and close that blade up before I go taking this thing apart. Now, we're not going to be doing a full takedown because we're really just going to be working on the blade. So in the interest of keeping it simple and not having this be a 1-hour video like my last video, we're gonna get right to the chase here. So let's take that scale off. There we go. You can see here, very nice milled steel liners here. Definitely weight saving going on here. They did a really great job. I love this knife. It really, I think Kizer, even aside from just this one knife, Kizer really knocked it out of the park this year. Let's get that blade out. All right, there we go. And as you can see here, a nice set of bearings there. Really well done. Love that blade shape too. Super tactical looking. All right. And there is our Critical Mini is what I should say. Our Critical Mini 3V. Mean looking Warncliffe sheep's foot kind of thing going on here. So guys, I'm going to get the Dremel out and we're going to do a rock pattern texture on this spine. So a real quick note on safety gear, guys. I'm going to be wearing an N95 mask here just to kind of cut down on the particles that I would be breathing in. Also, I will be wearing a pair of safety glasses, just some basic stuff. You know, if you want to do this yourself, I would recommend getting some gear like this. So what we're going to be starting with, what I have in mind here, we're going to be working our way down the spine, doing a simple rock pattern from just past the jimping here to right where the blade is chopped here at this angle, about a 45-degree angle there. It's going to be a rock pattern all the way down, and then working our way down from just past the logo down the swedge, we'll do a very slight carving pattern. So we'll see. I think it'll be really good. I'm excited about it. And then from there, we're going to do some other stuff, guys. That's not it. We're going to be doing some acid etching with some layering and some masking. I think that could be really cool. Alright guys, as we can see here, I think that turned out pretty darn cool. So what we have here now is a randomized rock pattern. I love rock patterns because it's very easy to do them. You just go at it at random and it still looks really nice. You don't have to worry about pinpoint precision, but it still has a really cool effect. I think once we do the acid wash, this is going to look even cooler. I was considering doing some carving down the swedge, but the more I look at it now, I don't think I want to do that. I just really like the profile of the swedge here, and doing a rock carving down it is going to detract from that, I think. So we're just going to stick with the spine carving, which I think turned out pretty great. So up next, we're going to move on to the acid wash. In order to do that, I'm going to go and really clean this thing up with some Dawn soap and water, really scrub it, get any kind of residue or anything on it, get that off of it. Now on this side, it does have some patina. Being 3D, it patinas quite easily. But from then, we're going to be ready to roll. So I will see you guys in just a second. Alright y'all, so what we have here is my really scientific acid washing station here. But before we get into that, we're going to need to talk about the specific kind of pattern we're going to do. What we're going to do is a mixture of masking and layering. I think it's going to be quite cool. In terms of protecting contact surfaces. Now I know a lot of people online say you should use fingernail paint or something like that. I just use a Sharpie, guys. It works great for me. I've never had any issues. I'm just going to be hitting the area where the ball bearings are in contact. I don't hit the lock face. I've never had problems acid etching with the lock face. It's never been an issue for me. So if you guys have had a different experience, let me know. I know a lot of people swear that you need to paint the lock face, paint the bearings or washers area, and paint the stop pin area, but honestly, I've never had any issues there, so I'm not going to do it. But I will hit that bearings race there. Let's go ahead and do that with my Sharpie here. So very straightforward, just going to color it in here. And honestly, the amount of effort this saves you, from, good Lord, from dealing with fingernail paint and acetone and all that crap, it's remarkable. Okay, and that's all we need, guys. Now again, I've done this on several blades and I've never had an issue. So if y'all want to, tell me I'm crazy, tell me I'm wrong, I mean, that's fine. But I just did this one the other night and it had the same effect. Now this crazy etching on this was a kind of a test. That's why it looks so funky and weird. But yeah, no issues in terms of the contact surfaces and all that. So, all right, so what we're going to do here, first of all, if you're dealing with ferric chloride acid, which is what this is, not ferric chloride acid, but a mixture of ferric chloride and water, which creates, I believe, what is called muriatic acid. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Get some gloves on. Definitely want to protect yourself. And let's see here. You need something in order to drop the object that you're etching into the acid. And I'm using just a simple coat hanger that I've unwound and put a U-hook in, and I'm going to drop it right in. All right, so let's get this lid off here. And we are going to take our blade and we are going to drop it in for just 1 minute and see what that does. I've never done 3V before, so I'm curious to see how this does. Okay guys, so next up is the masking process. We have kind of our baseline here, and I know this looks rough right now. Once we go through the stone wash, it's going to look a lot better. So we have our first mask on here. I'm going to cover up that little nub of the flipper tab as well, and I just need to repeat it for this side. So it's going to look very similar to this. So let me get that done. We're going to get it another acid dip, and then one more after that, and we will be all done. Alright guys, fully masked up, ready for our second dip here into the muriatic acid. Alright guys, we now have our second layer of masking on there, and we're going to dip it back in once again. And then we'll peel all this off and we'll give it a nice stone wash. I think it's going to look really awesome. I'm pretty pleased with how the wash has been going so far. I think one more dip is really going to make it pop. As you can see, the laser engravings reverse themselves out. And I've seen this be the case on pretty much every knife I've acid washed. So you get this nice, almost white on black kind of look. I'm really pleased with it. So let's dive right back into it. Alright y'all, so here is our post-acid wash, post-masking effect here. I think it looks really cool. Now I know this looks rough when you're just looking at it, but when we do the stone wash, it's going to even this all out really nicely. I think it's going to look really good. So that process is next. I'll show you what we need to do for that. We've got our blade here. We've got our tumbling media, which comes from Harbor Freight. This is ceramic, these little ceramic triangles. And we've got it mixed in our Tupperware bowl here with just some soap and water. Of course, I have a lid as well. You wouldn't want to do this without a lid. Mine has seen better days. This thing has been used for every stone washing project I've done. So we're simply going to drop our blade in, kind of mix it around there, get some of the ceramic stones on top of it, and then I'm going to put the lid on it. We're going to shake the heck out of it. Probably start off with a minute and just check it from there. I'll let you guys know what the final amount of time was. Alright guys, so here it is after just 1 minute of tumbling. That ceramic media is no joke. A little heavier on the stone wash than I wanted, but I do like the kind of Jurassic Park kind of vibe that we have going on here. And also my harsh studio lights make it look a little bit more extreme than it actually is. I think under daylight it's going to look really good. But so, since we've stone washed this thing, the blade basically does not have an edge anymore. So the next thing we need to do is sharpen this bad boy back up. We're going to put a mirror finish on this thing using the Ken Onion Work Sharp belt grinding attachment, and going to jump into that right now. Alright y'all, well that was quite a bit of work. That was about 2 hours worth of work here, but I'm pretty happy with the results. I love the tough, beat up, just destructed look that it has to it. I love the way that the rock carved spine turned out. I think it looks really good. And I think it suits the vibe of this knife being in 3V, going for toughness and sort of a combat kind of aesthetic. I think it looks really good. So let's get this thing reassembled. First off, we're just going to wipe down the two sides here. Just got a damp cloth here. Don't knock my stop pin out there. I'm just going to give it a rub down. I've not actually cleaned this knife out before, so I want to make it a point to. Now, I'm not going overboard right now. I'm just keeping it pretty simple. Because, to be honest with y'all, I am beat. This was a project. Alright, now let's get this side here. Alrighty. And now, let's get all of our parts into position here. Let me see. Now, this knife builds back together kind of backwards. So we need to have, first of all, we need to give the bearings a drop of oil. See if I can get that bearing out. There we go. We'll put the stop pin back over here. So let's get our mineral oil out here. This is what I always recommend for lubricating knives, just because it's food safe. Really appreciate that about mineral oil. You don't have to worry about it. Alright. It's a dab of oil there. And let's put that bearing in place. One thing you want to note with bearings is there's a side that has the balls are more exposed. Come on, focus. Sometimes, not always, but to me it appears that, oh boy, this is a tough one. This one might be fairly equally done. They look larger on this side to me, so this side is going to face the blade. I learned that from Nathan's Knives. If you don't subscribe to that channel, I highly recommend you do. He's just an awesome modder, and the work he does is fantastic. Blows my little pet projects here out of the water. Really hoping to tongue twister. Really hoping that the guy gets the recognition that I think he deserves. Alright. A little heavy-handed on that oil, but you know what? It'll be alright. So let's get the stop pin in position here. Come on. There we go. Oh, I slipped out. There we go. I really love the geometry of the stop pin in this knife. That is such a cool way to handle a stop pin. It really isn't going anywhere. I mean, it slides into that groove and you are locked in. Okay, now let's get the other side on here. But first, let's see here. Apply some oil. And yeah, as I said, this knife goes together in a weird way. So we need to take this bearing, and again, let's have a look at the sides here. You know what? They really might be equally sided on this knife. They look larger to me on this side. Yeah, I think. Drop those into place. There we go. And now this side is ready to pop right back on. Oh, damn, this thing looks tough. Alright, let's see. Hold that blade up here. Now, usually when you take a knife apart like this, you use the liner or the liner lock or the frame lock to lock the blade into position, but you can't do that here, seeing as how it doesn't disassemble from that side. But it goes together pretty smoothly. Matter of fact, I think we already have seated it. So, yep, there we go. So now we just need to put all... Oh, dang. This thing looks mean. Alright, now we just need to put all the pieces into place here. Let's see, and let's swap out that driver for our T8. What I love about doing stone washes and acid washes like this is that it really gives the knife a custom look. Looks like something the actual designer would have made, you know, in his own shop or studio or whatever. Speaking of which, this knife was designed by, I believe the name of the company is Christensen Knife Works. You can check out their website. They've got some awesome work over there. I do think the Critical is one of his coolest looking knives out of the bunch that he makes. Alright, and our last screw. Now, one thing I didn't mention at the start of the video was that this pocket clip had already been acid washed. I did that as soon as I got the knife because the way the knife ships, that pocket clip is like bright and flashy. A little bit of play. Let's tighten up that pivot. We're almost there. Oh yeah, there we go. Whew. Man, oh, that looks mean, guys. That looks tough. Action is still freaking fantastic. Love this knife. Love this knife. Man, can't wait to get it out in the daylight and get some natural light photography with it. Get that oil off of there. But yeah, oh dang, that thing looks mean. Mean, mean, mean. Y'all notice I left the liners completely polished just because I think it's a nice balance. You've got the heavy acid wash here versus the polish of the liners, and then the kind of matte gray G10 backspacer here. I think it just works really well, and then it all balances out with the gray G10 pivot collars too. Yeah, so that is the Kizer Critical Mini in 3V. I got to come up with a name for this one now, guys. I don't know. I'll have to think on it. Let me know if you guys have any suggestions. Really love the way the tritone acid wash came out. I will say that ceramic media eats that. It makes that stone wash happen fast. So I would consider doing a shorter amount of time if you want to try this on your own. That said, I think for this knife, the aggressive stone wash look really works. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll have some glamour shots coming in here in just a second.